All right, let's get ready to green up our lives a little bit today
Sounds good.
because we're going to dive deep into eco hacks for city living.
Yeah.
City living can be tough to be eco-conscious,
Right.
but our source material this time is really interesting.
It really is. There are a lot of interesting ideas. And,
Yeah,
cities, it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and not really think about the impact.
right.
So this is really just a toolbox of ideas to help people think about this a little more.
It's not about being perfect. It's just
You
about
s-
making some changes.
Yeah, little by little.
So maybe we can start with one of the biggest things for me that comes to mind is waste.
Oh, absolutely.
The trash just piles up.
Waste is a huge problem in cities. And,
Yeah.
it's interesting because a lot of the solutions that are being proposed involve sort of going back to the way things used to be.
Oh, interesting.
Like zero waste shopping.
Yep.
Like using your own containers and going to bulk stores.
I've done that. It's fun. It's like a little treasure hunt. Yeah.
It is.
It's not always the most convenient, but
Yeah, but it's really cool.
that's not accessible to everyone.
You're right. Not everyone has access to bulk stores, but there are other things popping up, like these refill stations.
Fill stations.
Yeah, for everything, like cleaning products, even personal care products.
Oh, wow.
And some cities even have like mobile refill stations. So they'll
That's cool.
come to your neighborhood. It's like a farmer's market, but
Oh, that's so cool.
for all this stuff.
And farmers markets are great too.
Yes.
Reducing waste, supporting local.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's fresh food, and
Well-
it's better for you and better for the environment.
But composting,
Oh,
I live in a tiny apartment.
I know.
Composting seems impossible.
Well, it's interesting because there are all these different ways to compost now that don't involve a big backyard.
Okay, like what?
Well, like bokashi composting, which
Yeah.
is,
Bokashi.
it's fermentation. It doesn't smell.
So I can do it inside.
Yeah, you can do it inside. It's great for apartments.
That's amazing.
Or vermicomposting. Have you heard of that?
Vermicomposting.
Yeah, worms.
Okay, worms in my apartment.
I
don't
know,
want worms in
sounds
that.
a little strange, but they're actually really good at breaking down.
If it helps the planet.
Yeah, and if you really can't do it yourself, a lot of cities have community composting programs, so you can just
Oh, that's a good option.
drop it off.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's so many options out there.
Yeah, you just have to look for them.
Okay, so composting is one thing,
Right.
but I've also been trying to just reduce my waste overall.
Yeah.
By, you know,
Like using reusables.
yeah, like instead of paper towels, I've been using cloths and, beeswax wraps instead of plastic wrap. And,
Yeah.
just little things like that.
Those little things make a big difference. And it's also
Yeah.
fun to like build your own little zero waste kit,
Well, that's a good idea.
and put all that stuff in it.
Yeah.
Another thing to think about is multi-purpose items. So instead of having tons of different gadgets, just have a few that can do a lot of things.
Like what?
Like a cast iron skillet, you can cook anything in that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And like a glass spray bottle,
Okay.
you can use that for cleaning for your plants.
Yeah.
You can even make your own air freshener with it.
I love that.
So it's just
Simplifying.
Yeah, simplify.
Being mindful.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's waste.
Yeah.
The other big thing that I think about with city living is energy.
Energy. Oh my goodness.
City just eats up energy.
Cities are energy hogs,
They are.
but there's a lot we can do about it.
Okay, what do we got?
Well, first of all, think about maximizing natural resources
Like what?
like sunlight.
Yeah, let the sun shine in.
Literally let the sun shine in.
Rearrange your furniture.
Yeah.
Maximize that natural light.
Open your windows.
It really makes a difference. I've been doing that.
It does.
And it really makes my space feel brighter and bigger. And it saves energy.
It does, yeah. And just keeping your windows clean can make a big difference.
Yeah, and light-colored curtains.
Yes, light-colored curtains.
And mirrors.
Mirrors, yeah, reflecting that light
Yeah.
deeper into your space.
I love that.
And fresh air.
Yeah.
Instead of just turning on the AC all the time, think about opening your windows strategically
Okay.
to create a cross breeze,
Yeah.
and fans can help with that too.
Yeah, I love having a fan going. It just makes such a difference.
It really does, yeah.
But what about appliances?
Appliances,
Oh, boy.
they can be real energy suckers.
They are. But it's important to remember that even though energy-efficient appliances might cost more upfront,
Yeah,
they'll save you money in the long run.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. For example, LED light bulbs, they use way less energy than those old incandescent bulbs.
They do. I've switched over to those,
They
but
last forever.
I didn't realize it was that much of a difference.
It's a huge difference.
Wow, okay.
And then there's induction cooktops. They're much more efficient.
Induction cooktop.
I don't know a lot about those.
Yeah, they heat up much faster, so you're not wasting energy.
Okay.
And they save you time, too.
I like that.
Yeah, and look for the Energy Star label on any appliances you're buying.
Okay.
That means they meet certain energy efficiency standards.
Right. Energy Star. Got it.
And here's a little tip.
Great.
Get yourself some smart power strips.
Smart power strips. What are those?
They're amazing. They automatically cut the power to devices that aren't in use, so you're not...
Oh, so it's like vampire energy.
Exactly. It's getting rid of all that vampire energy.
Oh, that's cool. I need to get those.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay, that's appliances, but what about insulation?
Insulation.
Yeah, in an apartment. I mean, I've got shared walls.
Yeah, insulation can be tricky in apartments.
Yeah.
But there are some things you can do.
Okay, like what?
Well, first of all, weather stripping is your best friend.
Weather stripping.
Yeah, just sealing up those gaps around your windows and doors.
I've heard that even a tiny gap can make a big difference.
It can make a huge difference in terms of heat loss or heat gain.
Okay, I need to do that.
Yeah, and then there are thermal curtains.
Oh, those sound cozy.
They are cozy, and they're really effective at keeping the heat in or out.
Okay.
And then there are window films.
Window films?
Yeah, you apply them to your windows, and they help regulate the temperature.
Oh, cool. We have to look into those.
Yeah, they're great.
So that's energy. But now let's talk about getting around.
Getting around.
In the city.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the good thing about city living is public transit.
Yes, public transportation is essential for sustainable city living.
It's so much better for the environment than everyone driving their own cars.
It's significantly better.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah, and less stressful.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just fun to take the train or the bus and
It is.
people watch.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
But sometimes public transportation isn't an option.
Right.
So then you have things like car sharing and bike sharing programs.
Yeah, those are great.
They're really convenient.
Yeah. And it's cheaper than owning a car.
Yes, and better for the environment.
Yeah. And then there's always cycling.
Oh, yes. Cycling is fantastic.
I love cycling. It's great exercise.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And it's free.
It's free.
And good for the environment.
good for the environment.
And some cities are becoming so bike-friendly now.
Yeah, they have bike lanes and
Yeah.
trails and everything. It's great.
It's wonderful. And if you have to go a long distance or if it's hilly,
Yeah.
there are e-bikes.
E-bikes, those are becoming popular.
They are, yeah. And they're a great option for people who
Yeah.
maybe aren't as physically able to
Yeah.
cycle a long distance.
Yeah, or if you're carrying groceries or whatever.
Exactly. And some cities even have subsidies or rental programs to
That's great.
make e-bikes more accessible.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really encouraging.
Okay, so we talked about bikes,
Yeah.
public transportation,
Uh-huh.
but sometimes you need a car.
Sometimes you do.
And when you do need a car,
Electric or hybrid?
those are the way to go, especially for city driving.
Yeah, I've heard that electric cars are actually really well suited for city driving.
They are, because all the stop-and-go traffic
Yeah.
actually helps recharge the battery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, through regenerative braking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you're actually getting more energy
Yeah,
back
good to know that.
from all that stopping and starting.
That's fascinating.
And there are more and more public charging stations popping up all the time.
That's good because that was one of my concerns with
Yeah,
electric cars.
but it's becoming less and less of a concern as
Yeah.
the infrastructure improves.
So we've covered a lot.
Really?
We've talked about waste,
Yeah.
energy transportation. What could possibly be next?
Well, there's a lot more to talk about.
Okay.
We're going to dive into mindful consumption, urban gardening,
Yeah, that sounds great.
and some other really cool eco hacks that you might not have even thought of.
All right, so stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive
Yes.
on eco hacks for city living. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our deep dive on eco hacks for city living. So in part 1, we were talking about, waste, energy, transportation.
Yeah, all the big stuff.
Yeah, all the big picture stuff.
Getting around the city.
Yeah, but now I want to dive into mindful consumption a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's a great topic.
It's easy to get caught up in consumerism in the city.
It really is. There's so much temptation everywhere you look.
So many shops, restaurants,
Yeah.
all these events happening.
And it's so easy to just buy.
Yeah, and our sources this time really emphasize that it's important to be mindful of what we're consuming.
Yeah, to really think about the impact of our choices.
Yeah, and I think a good place to start with that is fashion.
Okay, fashion.
Yeah, I mean, we all like to look good. We like to express ourselves through our clothes.
Of course.
But the fast fashion industry is a big problem.
It really is. It's a huge environmental problem.
Yeah, all those clothes ending up in landfills.
And the unethical labor practices.
Right. And the resources it takes to make all those clothes.
It's not sustainable. It's not. So what can we do about it?
Well, one thing we can do is invest in high-quality, timeless pieces.
Instead of just buying a bunch of cheap, trendy stuff.
Exactly, clothes that will last for years.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Exactly.
So look for durable fabrics, classic designs, things that you really love, and that'll
Yeah, things that you'll wear again and
yeah,
again.
make you feel good when you wear them.
Yeah, when you do need something new, think about buying secondhand.
Oh yeah, secondhand shopping.
Yeah, thrifting, consignment shops, online
Yeah.
platforms.
I used to think thrift stores were just like dusty old clothes, but
I know, me too, but there are so many amazing places now.
there are. It's amazing what you can find.
You can find designer labels, vintage pieces,
Yeah.
for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, and you're giving those clothes a second life.
Exactly, keeping them out of the landfill.
I love that.
It's fun.
It is. It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah, and if you want to make it a social event, you can do a clothing swap.
Oh, clothing swaps? Those are so much fun. They're so much fun. It's like a party with your friends.
Yeah, everyone brings their clothes they don't wear anymore, and
Yeah, and you swap.
yeah, it's great.
And you get a whole new wardrobe for free.
Yeah, and it's a great way to connect with people who are into sustainable fashion.
Exactly.
And if you really want to splurge on something new,
Yeah.
you can support local designers.
Oh, absolutely.
There are so many talented designers in cities who are,
We're doing really cool things.
yeah, who are focusing on sustainability.
Yeah, using eco-friendly materials, ethical labor practices.
Yeah, minimizing waste in their production.
They're really leading the way in terms of sustainable fashion.
Yeah, it's so inspiring to see what they're doing.
It really is.
So that's fashion. What about food?
Food. Oh, yeah.
Food waste is a huge problem.
It's a huge problem in cities, especially.
Yeah, because everything is so convenient.
Yeah, we just grab food on the go we don't really think about.
Yeah, and then it ends up going bad in the fridge.
Exactly. So meal planning is key.
Meal planning.
Yeah, sit down once a week, plan out your meals for the week, make a grocery list.
That's a good idea. I'm so bad at that.
It really helps you avoid impulse purchases.
And it saves money.
Yeah, and it helps you use up all the food that you buy.
Yeah,
So less waste.
I need to get better at that.
There are even apps now that can help you with meal planning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and grocery lists.
That's cool.
Yeah, and some apps will even suggest recipes based on the ingredients you already have.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, technology can be really helpful
It can.
for reducing food waste.
Okay, so meal planning apps are a good tip.
Yes, definitely.
What else?
Well, there are also these apps that connect you with restaurants or stores that are selling surplus food.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
Yeah, at a discount.
So you get a good deal and you're preventing food waste.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
I love that.
Yeah, and don't forget about the old school methods of preserving food.
Like what?
Canning, freezing, pickling.
Oh, yeah, my grandmother used to do all of that.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah, I love that.
People are rediscovering the joy of preserving food.
It's a great way to reduce food waste, and you have delicious homemade treats.
Exactly, and it connects you to the seasons.
It does.
You know, you're preserving the abundance of the summer harvest.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about meal planning apps,
Yeah.
preserving food.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do?
Well, remember that old saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, it's about being resourceful,
Exactly.
making the most of what you have.
Yeah, instead of just throwing things away, think about how you can repair them, repurpose them.
Or if you really need to replace them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes you just don't need to buy anything new.
Right, or you can borrow or share with friends and neighbors.
Yeah, there's a real sense of community in that.
Yeah, it's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance.
I love that.
Yeah, recognizing that we have more than enough if we share and utilize resources wisely.
That's a really good point. We've talked about mindful fashion, mindful eating, this overall theme of resourcefulness.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that every choice we make has an impact.
Yeah, and sometimes that can feel overwhelming.
It can, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
Just remember progress over perfection.
I love that.
Start small, focus on one area at a time, and celebrate your wins.
Yeah, it's not about being perfect. It's about making conscious choices.
Exactly, and those choices add up.
They do, and they create a ripple effect.
Exactly. So join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll uncover some surprising eco-hacks related to water conservation and even our digital footprint.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. I can't wait. Okay, we are back and ready for part 3 of our deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground so far, haven't we?
Yeah, from zero-waste kitchens to rooftop gardens to energy-efficient appliances and mindful consumption. It's been a lot.
And how to get around the city sustainably.
Yeah. So what do we have left?
Well, we saved some of the most unexpected and surprising eco-hacks for last.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the unexpected.
Well, let's talk about water.
Water. Okay.
Yeah, it's something we often take for granted, especially in cities.
Yeah, it just comes out of the tap.
Right. But it's important to remember that water is a precious resource,
Yeah.
and it's becoming increasingly scarce in many parts of the world.
So how can we conserve water in a city?
Well, there are a lot of simple things we can do, like installing low-flow shower heads and faucet aerators.
Those are easy enough.
Yeah, they're really easy to install, and they make a big difference.
They do. I actually switched to a low-flow shower head recently, and I was surprised by how much water I saved.
Yeah, it's amazing how much water we waste without even realizing it.
It is.
And speaking of showers, try to keep them short.
Okay, that's a tough one. I like my long, hot showers.
I know, but even a few minutes less can save a lot of water.
I guess so.
Maybe you could set a timer or listen to a couple of your favorite songs.
Okay, I could try that.
Yeah, just something to keep you mindful of the time.
All right. I'm up for the challenge.
Great. And what about laundry?
Laundry? Yeah, that's another water guzzler.
It is so. Make sure you always wash full loads
Okay, no more half loads.
and wash in cold water whenever possible.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that cold water is actually better for your clothes anyway.
It helps prevent fading and shrinkage,
Good to know.
and it saves energy too.
Bonus.
Yeah, and think about ways you can reuse water around your home.
Like what?
Well, you could collect rainwater to water your plants, or use the water from rinsing fruits and vegetables to water your indoor herbs.
Those are great ideas. I never thought of that.
It's all about being creative and resourceful.
Yeah, looking for those hidden opportunities.
Exactly. Okay, now for something completely different.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's talk about our digital footprint.
Our digital footprint, what does that have to do with eco-friendly living?
Well, believe it or not, our digital lives have a real impact on the environment.
Really?
Yeah, every email we send, every video we stream, every file we store in the cloud, it all consumes energy.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
It's easy to forget that those seemingly weightless digital activities rely on a vast network of physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
Servers, data centers, networks, all of which consume huge amounts of energy.
So what can we do about it?
Well, for starters, you can declutter your inbox.
Go unsubscribe from all those newsletters I never read.
Exactly. Delete old emails. Empty your spam folder regularly.
Digital spring cleaning.
Exactly. And be mindful of how much data you're storing in the cloud.
Oh yeah, I have so many photos and videos just sitting there.
Try to only store essential files in the cloud and consider using external hard drives for less frequently accessed data.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and what about streaming?
Streaming? Oh, I love streaming.
I know we all do, but it uses a lot of energy.
So what can I do?
Well, you can download content to watch offline whenever possible.
Okay, that makes sense.
And choose lower resolution settings to reduce data usage.
Yeah, I probably don't need to watch everything in 4K anyway.
And have you ever heard of green search engines?
Green search engines.
Yeah, they're search engines that are designed to minimize their environmental impact.
How do they do that?
Well, they use renewable energy to power their servers. They plant trees for every search you make.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they even donate a portion of their profits to environmental causes.
Okay, I am switching to a green search engine today.
Awesome. It's a small change that can make a big difference.
It really can. And, it's been great talking about all these individual actions we can take. But it's also important to remember that we need systemic change.
Yes, absolutely. We need to push for policies that support a more sustainable future.
Yeah, contact your elected officials, support organizations working on environmental issues.
Vote for candidates who prioritize the environment.
Yeah, make your voice heard.
Even small actions like signing petitions or sharing information on social media can make a difference.
It's about using our collective power to create change.
Exactly. And inspiring others to join the movement.
Yeah, we can all be agents of change in our own communities.
Absolutely. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive on eco-hacks for city living.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting conversation.
It has. I hope we've given our listeners some ideas and inspiration.
I think remember, sustainability is a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. There's always more to learn and more we can do.
So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep making your corner of the world a little bit greener.
And thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.